Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Feeding the Soul podcast. Uh, we are joined today by a very special guest, a restaurateur who I had the joy of meeting a couple of years ago at Healdsburg Food and Wine Fest, and I'm very excited to have her on the show today. Everyone, welcome Miss Kwini Reed to have you today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited and as you said, we go way back.
Yeah, so I hate telling personal stories, but I think this one's appropriate. So Healdsburg, you've been to Healdsburg a few years now. It's one of my favorite festivals. Um,
Mine
and
too.
the
Mine.
first Oh, isn't it fun? Yeah. So the first year my wife and I got tickets, we didn't know what to expect. We got our tickets in sort of an itinerary. We just kind of went with the flow, wherever the bus took us. And one of them was this lunch at a winery. I'm like, I don't recognize the chef's name, but should be fun. And my wife and I say this all the time. One of the, if not best meals we've had at any of the Healdsburg events. I mean, it was incredible. But the fun thing was when the meal was all over, you and chef came out and were interacting with the crowd, and it was sort of like this well-oiled machine, sort of like natural dance, the way you all were interacting and the back and forth. And then you started talking about the restaurants, and my wife and I are looking at it, and I'm like, hey, I'm going down to Anaheim for work soon. We got to check that restaurant out. And that instantly became one of our top restaurants. If we're anywhere near Orange County, we go to Poppy and Seed. And this is one of my regrets. The restaurant behind me right now, I have I have yet to go to yet. So this is on my list when I go to LA. I don't find myself there, but it was, and that was what, like 3 years ago, I think that happened.
Three years ago. Yep, 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
something like that. So I've talked way too much. Let's just get right down to this. So for those of you who don't know Queenie, Queenie, do me a favor, and I ask all my guests this in 2 minutes or less. Talk about how you got into the hospitality industry and fast forward all the way to today. And I know that could take like a 2 hour conversation, but the super cliff notes, and we'll go from there.
Cool. I got it. I got it. Okay, so I am Queenie Reed. I am a restaurateur, as Dino has said. And I am actually a partner with my husband, Chef Michael Reed. And essentially, it's a very funny story of how I got into this industry, and it was out of the love of my husband. I had no idea hospitality, especially restaurant hospitality, is like this wonderful, strenuous, but I love it, but I'm tired of it, but I love it type of place, you know? Um, and my hospitality background was hotels, and I started in hotels. Um,
Okay.
and from hotels was essentially like I worked at the front desk and I was a front desk manager on Sunset Strip. And if you know anything about LA and West Hollywood, Hollywood and
Hmm.
Sunset Boulevard is it. Okay. So it was the time of my life. It was great. Um, and then from there, I kind of like transitioned out. I needed just a break and step back, and I kind of got into finance and became an accountant. Worked in the fashion industry, did all the things,
Oh,
and tried to come back into hospitality. Started working at the Standard, and met my wonderful husband, and he was a chef, and well, he is a chef. And at that time, never saw him, and so it came down to the point where like, look, either sir, either I'm gonna have to join you or we're gonna get divorced. Because like
oh,
this
wow.
whole like you're not coming to holidays, like it's like I'm
Oh, yeah.
literally like in a relationship by myself. Like I love you, so I'm willing to see what this is. Fast forward, Michael had opened Poppy and Rose and Rudolph Food, the catering company, and the restaurant that we have today. He opened Rudolph Food in 2023, and then right behind that, Poppy and Rose in 2024. I had the opportunity to join him in 2019, where we bought out one of the other owners that he had originally started Poppy and Rose from. And then from there, the pandemic hit. And so that made us very close. And so I essentially got my introduction into restaurant touring and being in a restaurant in the pandemic. It was wonderful. I'm fine. We're all fine. Everybody.
Seriously, that's a
Yes.
trial by fire in
Right,
that industry.
right, right. I didn't know what I was doing. I was throwing stuff at the wall and then just authentically being me. And then my husband is like, let's keep growing. Let's do this. We can do this. And we started doing it. And so we opened up another restaurant, Poppy and Seed in Anaheim. And that's where we started to get like, kind of known in the industry and, our accolades and those types of things. And we're still doing all the things together and growing. So that's my short.
So that was, first of all, excellent job of condensing like an entire adult lifetime into a minute and a half, whatever that was. Um, you mentioned you went from hotel hospitality to
Yeah.
fashion and then
Yes.
back up. So, I mean, you explained why you left fashion to sort of join your husband, but what made you go from hospitality to jump into the fashion industry? Because they're not, I mean, for me on the outside, it doesn't seem like that's very similar.
They're not. But like since I was in a finance role, it kind of translates all the same. The accounting
Hmm.
is kind of like, it's kind of straightforward. There are a lot of things in accounting that you need to know when it comes to the fashion industry that doesn't particularly happen in the hospitality industry. But
Okay.
like gap accounting is gap accounting anywhere, which is the principles of accounting, right? And so for me, fashion kind of found me. I was
Hmm.
interviewing for positions. I really wanted to go back into a hotel, but I had been out of the hotel for a little while because I was also a recording artist and a singer and a songwriter. So I did that for a while.
Hold up, wait a minute. Also, singer-songwriter.
A lot
So,
of people don't know that today, but yeah, there was a period in time in my life where I was recording music and writing songs for TV and film that still get placed today. And so
so where do
that,
we find this? Like, how do I get this on my Apple Music? That's what I want to know.
oh my God, if you actually type in Queenie and then my second name was like Renee, which is my middle name, but it's Rene, you'll find like two songs, and then like I think that there's some still on SoundCloud. It's still it's out there in the internet
Cha-
verse.
Challenge accepted. It's going to happen as soon as we're done recording. See, you learn all these things when you interview people. Okay,
I
so you start in hotel, then you go to fashion accounting with a side gig of being a recording artist,
No,
and
then
then all.
I left. I started in hotel. I left hotel. Well, as I was doing hotel, I was still doing singing and
Okay,
songwriting
okay.
and those types of things. Then I left the hotel because I was making a little bit of money in the artistry. And so I left for about like 3 years. And in that 3 year gap, I tried to come back and was like, okay, I want to go back into hotels, but they kind of wouldn't let me in. And so I got because of just the gap of how long I hadn't been in.
Okay, yeah,
Right. And when I left the hotel, I was at a management level. So I was like, okay, I got to go back in as a management level. But I'd
right.
always been good at like just like accounting. Just like I just had a knack for like numbers. And so I was like, all right, I have to start making money because my money's running out. If you know anything about the entertainment industry, the checks come, the checks
And
go.
then they stop. Yeah.
That's yeah. And so I was like, all right, like I'm a full-fledged adult. I need to make money. And how can I make money? Like I'm smart. I love computers and like spreadsheets because I have like this nerd side of me. Like I'm a Trekkie, so I like all like science and
Oh,
kind of
we'll
stuff.
offline on that sort of stuff later. Yeah,
And let's
yeah,
let's
yeah.
do it. Okay, let's do it.
Game on.
And so I kind of like really just was like, all right, what can I do? And I took a temp position as like this bookkeeper for a fashion line called Brandy Melville. That was like they were stores. They were little like teeny bopper stores for clothes. And that's how I kind of got into fashion. So from there, I honestly was like, all right, I didn't know I was gonna meet Michael and happen to
Yeah.
transition back into hospitality. Like I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a career out of this, and that's what I did. So I worked at Brandy Melville for a little while, and then I moved on to like doing accounting at for like this company where oh no, I actually I trained then that got me in the door to get to the hotel to meet Michael. And so
Okay.
when I got to the hotel to meet Michael, because then they were like, oh, okay, we have a position in the accounting office in the hotel. And so my plan was, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get into accounting and then I can beeline to the front desk. That was my plan. But that's not what happened. So I met Michael, stayed in hotels for a little while. We dated, we got engaged. We got married. When we got married, I kind of made my way out of hotels, just like the toxicity, going on. I
Yeah.
was just like drugs, alcohol, and all the kind of things. I was like, listen, okay, I'm trying to be not in this. It's a lot.
I
So
get it.
then I transitioned back into fashion. And then that's when I
Okay.
worked for a line where we did like ready wear for like Kylie and Kendall and Kylie. That's what their line was called. And then
Oh,
we
okay. Okay.
we did like ready to wear for like Guess, and we had like all these like fashion houses that were underneath us. And that's what I did. And then that's what I did until it was time for us to join forces and take over the world.
I First of all, that's a very interesting, not very straight path to where you're at. But
Yeah.
you ended it with that's when we joined forces to take over the world. I love the way you worded that. So, and that actually ties right into my next question. It's almost like I planned it. Um, what's it like? So, working with your spouse, but not just working with, it's not like you work at a department store in the same department. You own businesses together that you're both very passionate about, and you have a family, and
Yes.
you have to sort of carve out time, I don't know, to enjoy life. Like, how does that not just working together work, but then also finding the time to make that all work? Because there's only 24 hours in a day, and it doesn't sound like that's enough for you guys.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that it's like a walk in the park. It's easy at times because like being married to Michael is easy, right? And
Okay.
that's what kind of makes it work. Like if you have somebody that it's a struggle to just be with, right? And to
Yeah.
just be, then all the rest of this is gonna be like an uphill battle. Um, we have help when it comes to our childcare. So my mom and dad are very involved. So that's what allows for us to like both be at Hillsburg at the same time. And everybody's like, who's watching the kid? I'm like, mom and dad got her. Like it's the best thing because then I don't have to worry.
Yeah.
I know that she is being well taken care of, and that stress and anxiety of having to travel a lot, kind of it diminishes. Like yes,
Yeah.
we do miss her, but it's like I can actually show up and be at Hillsburg and actually be present in Hillsburg because I know somebody is taking very well care of our
Hmm.
daughter. Um, and then like for us, we also incorporated before we like fell in love, we worked very closely together at the Standard. So we built like this working relationship well before we were existing as partners, right? And
Yeah.
so, and then our roles are very opposites, right? For the most part, I'm operations, I'm all the things like admin and accounting and all those things. Like we work on growth together. So, and then he's menu. I have nothing to say there. I have nothing to
Mm.
say.
Do you
Nothing.
get the taste test though? He's
I
testing stuff out.
do. And it's we had a tasting yesterday and it was fabulous.
Oh, killing
It's
me.
so good. He did like this melon. It's like melon and crab. Like, oh my God. It's just was so good.
Yeah, that's
Um,
actually that's actual footage of me when I eat his food. I'm doing like
it-
same. Yeah.
just everywhere. It's just so
Yeah.
good. And so like it's really kind of like this, like we respect each other and we built this to kind of work this way.
Yeah.
Um, we have to make we have to make an effort to make sure that we are planning date nights, that we are
Mm.
sure that our marriage is still the focal point of why we do this, right?
Yeah.
Like our hospitality group that we created, a table for two hospitality, because that's how we started. We were going out to dinner. Like he introduced me to what dining was. Like
Yeah.
I was eating and experiencing food like right here, just like whatever's in front of me, get some salt and pepper, it's good. You know? And wine, like what do you mean wine? Like okay, it's if it's red or white, okay, that's all I know. And like he opened my mind to all of these different ways to dine and how to experience food and wine. And so it's like, we have to make sure that we keep that the focal point of why we're doing this.
Yeah.
So it's really about like being intentional. We understand each other. We also like alone time, which works because because we're in front of people so much that half the time it's like, I don't want to talk to you, sir. Like I've been talking all day. I am talked out. I don't have nothing to say. I just want to let.
Oh,
And he's so fine with that. He's like, okay, like he's like, all right, fine. And his feelings aren't his feelings are not hurt, and that is that level of understanding.
it's a beautiful match, right?
Man, because there's so many times where he's like, listen, if you ask me one more time what I want for dinner, I'm gonna explode. Okay. I've been thinking about menu items all week, and you're asking me what I want for dinner? Like, no. And I understand it, and so I think it's just that level of understanding that makes it work.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I always joke with people, and that's why I was laughing when you said that alone time. I feel like the number one way to have a successful marriage is separate bathrooms. You just got to have that
Yeah.
alone.
Alone time, right? Leave me alone. I like
I
it in
love
here
it.
just for a second.
So,
Yeah.
listening to you talk about the two of you together, whether it's personal relationship, business together, having your own lanes, I got to say, from an outsider's point of view, and obviously those of us who watch Food Network religiously and all that sort of thing, I watched the episode that you did of Guys Grocery Games together just the other day before doing this interview. And we were watching it together. I'm like, you can tell they work together because it was like this well-oiled machine. And even when you disagreed about something, it was like quick, efficient, boom, boom, boom. Other couples were sort of confused, like, oh no, here come the Reeds, this well-oiled duo going through the whole thing. It was fun and telling to watch. It was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, because like what people don't know is that so how I got in, because like he wouldn't let me in. Like it was like I don't want to share this part. Like it was a battle. Like, and I was taking in the like, well, let me help you with the accounting side of your catering company in, right? Like
Hmm.
that's how I was trying to get in. And he was like, no. And I'm like, okay. Like, so then it came to the point where it was like, look, how about I become your server? Like we can show up together. Like I'll help you like load in because now we're doing like catering where it's like dinners for like, high-end dinners for like 15 people, right? You don't need to
Yeah.
hire the whole crew. So he would just like roll in by himself. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you just trying to work yourself to death? Like, I'm not doing anything, and we can at least spend time with each other. So
Mm.
I would be in the kitchen, like helping him. Like, I still can't cook, and I'm not the best at slicing and dicing and doing all those things, right? But I am a good pretender, okay? And so I can make it seem like I'm in there helping. I am very resourceful of go find, go get, put this like this after you show me. And so I think that that's what makes it work well. And then we kept getting casted that way. And then I was like, after a while, I was like, okay, this isn't fair because like you're casting me with him and he's going against actual two people who can cook. Like I feel it. Like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, and I'm a great personality, I understand. But at the same time, he wants to win, and you are setting him up for failure with me, ma'am and sir.
Well, that,
Okay.
that actually answers my questions. I say, who cooks at home? The way you're talking, it's not you, but is
I
he cooking home or
no,
a lot of leftovers?
right. Like it's to the point where like just so I can make sure that we don't order out so much, there's like a server at Poppy and Seed who has a meal prep service and he preps meals for me throughout the week.
That is awesome. The fact that
Oh,
you
it's
guys are pushing it out to a meal prep service.
crazy.
Okay, it sounds funny, but if you think about it, anybody in it, like even someone who's a server at, let's say, a chain restaurant somewhere, once you're there for a while, you don't ever want to eat that because it's what you see and do all day. So I imagine if you're cooking all day, the last thing you want to do is come home and cook.
100%. So Michael said this because I was under the impression that when we first got together, I was like, ooh, I'm married to a chef. We're dating. I'm with a chef. He's gonna cook all the time. And he legit told me, like, I feel like on our second date, third date, that was because I was like, you haven't cooked for me yet. And he was like, do you like to come home and do the books? I was like, you know what? Touche. That enough
That
said.
that makes total sense.
You don't need to tell me anything else. Like I completely understand now, sir. Heard. So Jack, what
Or
do you want
Jack.
for Jack in the Box?
Oh, if you're gonna get carry out, you got to do better, Jack.
Hey, but when what's open? What's open at 11 or 12 o'clock at night?
So my pushback on that is, so my wife and I are from Detroit. We moved to California about 10 years ago, and we're up in the Central Valley by Fresno. We are surrounded by the best taco trucks, and they're everywhere I look. So if I get that urge at that time, it's taco truck time.
I feel it, but not in downtown LA.
Touche. To
Right,
quote you,
okay.
touche. Yeah.
Okay. Right? Because
Up
when
in
I was in
farm country,
Koreatown,
Fresno, you just,
right, when I was in Koreatown, the taco truck across the street was the best thing ever. And I
mhm.
was there most nights. So I totally get it. But downtown LA, absolutely not.
No,
So the
I
only
hear
thing
that.
that was like, yeah, the only thing that was open, like driving into was legit Jack in the Box or Domino's Pizza.
You know, say
Then when
pizza
he
to an
started,
Italian. I mean, yeah, you got me.
I know, it's tough, and I think I'm telling on Michael because that's legit like his go-to. Then when he started working in Santa Monica, then it was Tatsu Ramen.
Okay,
Oh, see, we
okay.
progressed. We got better. Got better. We got a
Just a
whole
little bit.
yeah, just a couple of steps, you know.
We got all kinds of corporate sponsors just from that conversation.
I know at this point. I know. Like, I mean,
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the focus of this whole podcast is, first of all, the hilarious and entertaining story you just talked about this building this sort of growing mini empire you have down there together. Having that now, what is it outside of that that drives you guys, specifically you? Because we can ask Michael on separately, I don't care. But you, what is it like, whether it's a charity or a cause that's near and dear to your heart that as you guys are growing and getting known, and you can either not just give donations of money, but you can give attention to a cause. What would it be that's near and dear to your heart?
yeah, so I mean, we do like I live by to whom much is given, much is required. And so especially like during the pandemic that became very apparent. Uh
Hmm.
like like we had to really, you know, be a source, right? And be a lifeline for people because like, we were all there. Things were things were not okay. Um and so for me like I feel like with all that we do, I feel like it's always important to give back. And so what we started doing at Poppy and Rose, like especially like during the pandemic that we still do now, is one thing that we do because sustainability is also very big to me. I think that we should be kind to others. We should be kind to the earth and what's around us and the soil that we walk on daily. And so um we give out meals every single night, like whatever's like kind of left over. So everybody kind of knows. You'll see, like if you go to Poppy and Rose around 3 o'clock, you'll see people starting to line up because they
Mm,
know that they're going to get a meal. We adopted one of our unhoused neighbors, Jimmy, who comes by every single day, and no matter he has seen people come and go, but everybody knows that Jimmy gets a hamburger and a Coke every day. So he knows that he
man,
can come and get a meal every single day at Poppy and Rose. And then as we started to figure out, and because as you start a business, you have to. I think that it's important to figure out what you stand for, right? And what impression are you going to leave on the industry and then the people that are around you. And so as I'm thinking about building our brand and how I want our employees to think and and how I want them to feel when they are with us and around us, because I'm a big walk it like you talk it person. Um, it was okay, we need to find charities that align, right? And so
yeah,
one thing that doesn't make sense to me is that children have to suffer for anything, right? So expect, and this was even before we had a child, like, like that just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's not like, what are we gonna do? Tell them, get up and get a job. Like, they can't, like, their condition isn't based on anything that they can do, right? And
yeah,
so, and
yeah.
as adults, we should be able to come together and figure out how to make sure that children are fed and housed and educated and loved, like just those basic things that I don't know, humans need. And so we started really working really closely with No Kid Hungry. um we actually this
Love them.
a couple of months ago. We actually got to go to DC to go to the Hill and speak to our lawmakers because this was right when the big beautiful bill mm, was being passed. And so
Pause. I'll clip the video later. You can already know you and I are eye to eye on this because I was talking. Michael went off on a tangent. I'm like, go for it, buddy. I'll clip it out later. Yeah, the complete and utter bullshit that was. But bravo to you guys for going.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, and
Okay. So go
I
ahead.
was I was a little disappointed because I didn't get to speak to we were speaking to the people who voted for against the bill. Okay. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, well, you know why we're here, the other side didn't want to entertain us. Okay. And so like, when we're having conversations of the reason why we're in DC is over $6.50 per person per day to feed yourself 3 meals a day. Six dollars
Hmm.
and fifty cents.
Hmm.
Like I said when they said that out loud, because they're briefing us about our talking points and what I said, bye, I'm leaving. Like we're in here arguing over $6.50 per person per day for people to be to have adequate and now we're talking about children and we want to take this out of the schools. Why are we even shouldn't even be an argument. And so
Right.
No Kid Hungry is an organization that actively works on making sure that every child is fed. They are the champions of SNAP benefits where children and meals that my kid is now benefiting from are free in public schools.
Yeah.
That now kids are able to get, and especially in California, children are able to get breakfast and lunch for free. And then they also have this thing called Some Bucks. So in the summer, they get money on a card so that since they're not in school, they're able to continue to have money to eat. And so that's something that just in the fact that we work in the food industry, the one thing that we should do when it comes to give back is feeding people, right?
Yeah.
We can get groceries cheaper than anybody else because we buy in bulk. We have things that are left over. And we can figure out how to feed people.
Yeah. No, I taught I taught high school for over 20 years, and so it's near and dear to my heart too. When you're talking about kids, especially, kind of gets me right here. The number one thing you can do for students, I keep telling everyone this, like you talk about student behavior and focus and test scores and all, just make sure they eat breakfast. That's it. That will raise test scores and decrease behavioral issues more than anything else you can do in a school. Just get them to eat breakfast. A hungry
Absolutely.
student is not going to be paying attention to math class. It's just not going to happen.
Right? I mean, first of all, I don't know about anybody else who, when they become very hungry, is a nice person.
We have Snickers commercials to prove this. I mean, come
Thank
on.
you. It was the whole campaign for years and it worked. So because everyone could relate, like when I'm hungry, I am a bear, I'm a grouch, right? And I'm
Hmm.
upset. And now you are passing an adult emotional intelligence level, right? So you're asking a 7-year old to be emotionally intelligent, to be able to regulate their emotions when they're hungry, when we cannot do this as adults. There weren't children on that Snickers commercial. Those were adults at work a lot of times, or an athlete
Hmm.
trying to play sports or something, right? And so it's like, I highly believe, and as I will say to quote Whitney Houston, okay, I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead them way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them the strength, okay, to survive, to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be, okay?
We need
Because
two things. Number one, you are one of the funniest people I've ever talked to. And number two, there is a 100% chance that I'm going to put music behind you when you're doing that and when we put this online. That's
please
awesome.
do, okay? Because
Done and done.
that song was what in the 80s and it's still true today. It's still true today. These are the people that are going to be checking and I feel sorry for us because when we get old, these are going to be the ones. So
Hmm.
at least let's give them was a good step forward in the right direction by
And
something
not to
simple.
go off on kid tangents, but let's be honest. Being a kid today is way harder than it ever was for our generation. Like, can you imagine being a kid today with phones? You act like an idiot once when we were a kid, everyone forgot it. Now it's online and
And
just
everywhere.
at least give them breakfast because they have so much more to deal with than we ever
Right.
had.
Right? Like the level of like when I'm sitting in like I'm going to she Mackenzie was in private school and now we've transitioned her into public school for the second grade. Okay. So there's conversations that happen in public school that I didn't know. Right. And so like we're sitting down and the teacher, she's like, yeah, so we bring a therapist in, to help kids with anxiety. I was like, kids with anxiety? What do you mean? What do you, like, and she's like, yeah, they have anxiety over how they look and, if they're doing things right or, people don't like them or, and I'm just like, oh my God, like this is like, and then they're like, and a lot of kids carry on like adult personifications because their parents are out to lunch and now
Hmm.
they have to now make these heavy decisions for their brothers and sisters or just for themselves. Like I'm just like, like and I could sit on this soapbox for a long time. It's just like what
I
we're
could
doing
too.
is
You're
not
preaching to the
working.
choir here.
Like it's not working.
Hmm.
You cannot pay me to believe that this is what being a human was about. Working two jobs, having a what is it a side hustle. Our parents didn't have side hustles; they had jobs, and it was one
Hmm.
job. And they got off at a certain period of time, and we were all at home together eating breakfast. I mean, eating dinner. Okay. Like, and then we watched shows together after that because we all had time to be with each other. And now
Hmm.
parents have to work two jobs and then also have a job on the online to make money in your sleep because that's what the TikTok is telling you. This is not what we're supposed to be doing. I'm
I gotta
exhausted.
hand you. I wish I could just hand you a mic so you can just drop it because it's so. If you want to be a little bit more inspired by the human race, I encourage you guys to go to Italy.
Okay. Ooh,
It
please
feels like
tell.
what life is supposed to be like. It's so
Okay.
slow paced. Even like the food industry, you go to a nice restaurant there, and dinner is at least 3 hours. No one's rushing you because the server does. You're not tipping because the server is actually getting a salary that they can raise a family on. Like you'll see, being a server is like a generational career. Like a father will pass it down to a son, daughter, or son, and like so everything just slows down, and it's not this constant side hustle thing. And during the middle of the day at school, kids go home in the middle of the day for like 2.5 hours, lunch with the family, little siesta, then you go back
I
for your
know.
afternoon. But
Isn't that beautiful?
it's so it's so nice. It's so nice. So
Like,
there is hope.
and then I mean, I know that it is, and I mean, and I don't feel like it's gonna change, like because we have to like there's some things that we have to come to terms with in the United States. It's in
Loaded sentence.
this I mean, we got a lot, but we're
Yeah,
just gonna talk about just economics. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so it it's not about how much we make, it's about how much things cost. Right? Because like we're seeing this now, right? Okay, so we're seeing this now where we can keep on paying you more. And guess what happens? Things cost more, right? Because
Hmm.
what people are going to say is, well, we're going to charge you more and you're going to have to pay it because you need it. And now you have more money to pay it. So you never make up that shortfall, right?
Hmm.
The in between there, it's just going to keep on going like this. And so it's like what we should be outraged at is that the same house that was built in 1972, where you haven't changed a doorknob on this house, that was in 1972 was $12,000, is now $1.8 million. Did something happen to the wood? Did the wood turn in? Did like is it vintage wood now or like what's happening here? Like that doesn't make any sense. And so whereas
Yeah.
people could have careers working at the grocery store, right? And you could raise your family off of working at the grocery store, off of being a server. That was once upon a time our life here. And
Yeah.
then there was this thing called capitalism that happened, where now we're told that we need to have all these additional and extra things that have been pulling us further away from our humanity. And now we're having arguments over whether kids should get $6.50 a day to feed themselves 3 meals a day. With like so, and here we are.
That was an incredible sneak attack there. You went started talking about like real estate prices there, and then you brought like, and we're arguing about $6 a day. Mic drop, boom.
Man, this is crazy.
It's almost like you should go to Washington and tell people this kind of
I
stuff.
can
You're good at this.
I know, but I think I get a little bit too emotional, then I get mad.
Representative Reed on the Hill.
I'm with it, but then I'm gonna be mad, and then because this is
No,
just ignorance to me, like like this
yeah,
is.
you don't want to lose your joy because that'll do it
I
right off the bat.
know. Now I'm gonna be mad at people because I'm gonna be like, you're being facetious for no apparent reason. Like,
Oh man, I could do this all day. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap this up with a little bit of fun called the lightning round.
yes.
I do this every episode. This is zero stress, but I'm gonna just blurt something out, and you're gonna blurt out the first thing that comes to mind. It's gonna start very lighthearted, and then we'll get a little bit deep later on.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Sweet, sweet or savory?
Oh, sweet. All day.
Okay, okay. I don't get that a lot. Okay. Last great meal you had, and where was it?
It was yesterday when Michael at Poppy and Seed, when Michael
Nope.
gave me the okay.
Nope, you're not allowed to do that. And I'm sure he would agree
Dang,
with me. Nope, it's got
but
to
it
be someone
was.
that.
I know. Okay,
Let
so
me rephrase it.
say
Last non-read meal you had, and where was it?
right, be specific. Okay,
Yeah.
so I would say, let me think. The last great meal I've had, ooh, is I would say is gonna be, it's not there anymore, which is sad, but it was at Willow's Inn on Loomy Island, and it was about 2 years ago.
No, you have high standards. It's been 2 years since your last great meal like that. That's non-read. Okay.
I mean, yeah,
So
it
what
was.
what made it great? Like what did you have? That's just blow your mind?
So I think, and I think it's a unique experience, so it's kind of not fair, but it's
I get it.
because they're on this island right outside of Seattle, right? And they can only eat what they catch for the day.
Oh,
So,
nice.
everything is very fresh. Everything is from their garden. The way that, like the it was just thought out, very creative. The service was impeccable. Like it was all the
Mm.
things that you
The whole
would.
experience was incredible, not just the food.
Yeah. It was everything. Like, and it's right off the water, so dinner happens at sunset. Like it's all the things are playing for it, and then the food is top notch. The pairings for the wine was great. So I would have to say that that was thoroughly enjoyable. And I'm pretty
Nice.
sure that I've had some that have been from since then, but that is one that I would always go back to saying that was uh,
See, this just reminds me, I gotta stop doing these right before lunch. I gotta do this after lunch because now I'm really hungry.
yeah.
Just that description, I'm like, oh, that sounds good. So I'm gonna change up some of these questions, and you're gonna see why in a second, based on what you said a little while ago. It's coming. So right now, what's always in your fridge?
Lunchables. Okay, that's two part question because that's Mackenzie's side of the fridge. So what is
Oh, she
all
has her own.
yeah,
Okay,
she's,
okay.
she has her things. What I always have to have in my fridge, honestly, is almond creamer, because I drink mushroom
Mm,
coffee and that's like kind of like my go-to throughout the day. And without that being there, I can't drink it because the mushroom coffee is not ideal.
so glad you said that. Everyone at work is drinking this, and I like tried it, and I desperately want to like it, and I can't. So you're saying creamer is the way to go?
Yeah, I
Okay,
do the
okay,
caramel. What is it?
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, like a caramel creamer or vanilla or something like that. Throw that in there and it is delicious.
Otherwise, it just tastes like mushroom soup broth.
Yes, it's just nasty.
Yeah, which is fine as soup, but not, yeah. Okay.
Mm-mm.
So, second to last question. If you could share a bottle of wine with anybody, living or past, who would it be? And what kind of wine?
Okay, first of all, it would be my favorite. That's right now. And I hate to say this because I'm not a white wine, but I cannot stop drinking the New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc Cloudy Bay.
Hmm,
Oh,
okay.
have you had some?
I have. We've gotten along and eye to eye on almost everything today. I am not a Sauv Blanc fan.
Me neither. I hate Sauvignon Blanc, and I would purposely keep it off the menu because I thought that it was like there's nothing special to it. But
Yeah.
this Sauvignon Blanc of Cloudy Bay is so delicious to me. Like I'm just like I
Okay.
don't know what it is. It's great. And who would I? Whitney Houston.
I get that shouldn't surprise any of us after what just happened earlier. Yeah.
I would love to
You
have
want
a
to talk to Whitney?
I sure do. And if I could add two more people, it would be Michael Jackson and Prince.
Okay. This just came up with a friend of mine. We had this huge debate. Who's more talented? And this is not one of your questions. Who's more talented, Michael Jackson or Prince? Who's a more talented artist?
Oh, 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 why are you doing
I
that?
know. I know.
Oh, that is hard. Okay, can we have categories of talent though?
No, you got 30 seconds.
Ay, ay, ay.
That's why it's lightning round. You just got to name a name. No explanation.
All right.
Nope.
So
You won't hurt the other one's feelings. I promise. They're not watching.
no, I know right there. You know what? And I'm a say okay. Oh, this is hard.
10
Prince.
seconds.
Prince. And the
You
only
and I,
reason
you,
I say that,
you're not going to have a drink together because
okay,
I agree 100%. Yeah. That's my man right
right,
there.
okay. And the only
He
reason why
could
I say
possibly be one of the most talented people in rock
of
history,
all
period.
time.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Because all of the things that he could do. Like, you know what I'm
Like
saying? Like,
13 instruments or something.
man,
Yeah.
Prince
It's
was
crazy.
special. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, can we have categories?
We're,
But like
we're going
overall,
to talk about something after we're done recording here. I got you. I got you.
okay.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching right now, you may or may not be missing out on some of the most interesting conversations I've ever had with a guest. But what I would like to do, bring it back to the seriousness. I would like to thank you, first of all, for coming on. And then your very serious and I'm going to say kind of heart grabbing conversation around hunger in this country with children and what we're doing about it as a nation and what you guys do on a local level at your restaurants. Because when you're giving back, it's really easy to cut a check or give money to a charity. But when you're living it every day,
yeah.
like person to person, human to human, that's a whole nother level. And so thank you so much for doing that. And thank you for coming on and telling us about it. And thank you for bearing with my lightning questions that went off in whatever directions. I appreciate that.
Fun. That was very fun. And thank you for having us on. I appreciate it. And I thoroughly enjoy it. And I can't wait to honestly see you in Hillsburg this year.
Oh,
Because
it's gonna be a good old time.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. And again, Queenie Reed, check your comments and wherever I end up labeling, I don't even know, for links to the charities she talked about, No Kid Hungry. But yeah, thank you. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure you check out the charity we talked about and don't forget to follow us wherever you find us. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Instagram.